Imagine standing at the edge of the ocean, the waves crashing at your feet, the sun warming your skin, and your hair catching that perfect sea breeze. There's something undeniably alluring about beach hair. It's carefree, textured, full of life and volume, and it seems to come effortlessly. But what if you could recreate that same look right at home, no sandy beach or ocean required? Welcome to today's video, where we're rediving into the salty secret behind those iconic beachy waves, and how you can bring that ocean magic straight to your bathroom mirror. Salt water has long been nature's original hair texturizer. Surfers, swimmers, and beach lovers have all unknowingly been styling their hair with it for years. But lately, salt water has found its place in the beauty world, not just as an accidental style enhancer, but as a deliberate, affordable, and all-natural way to add volume, grit, and effortless waves to your hair. No curling iron, no salon visit. It's just a little DIY magic and a few simple ingredients. But here's the twist. Salt water isn't just about aesthetics. While it can transform flat, limp hair into a tousled masterpiece, it also plays a role in scalp care, oil control, and even gentle exfoliation. So whether you're here for the waves or the wellness, this salty solution has something for everyone. And the best part, you probably already have everything you need right in your kitchen. In this video, we'll show you exactly how to make your own saltwater hairspray at home, how to apply it for different hair types, and how to use it without damaging your strands. Because while salt water can be a fantastic styling aid, it needs to be used wisely. It's too much of a good thing, and your hair could end up dry and brittle. That's why not just showing you how to use it, we showing you how to balance it with proper conditioning and aftercare, so your hair stays soft, healthy, and strong. We'll break down how salt affects your hair on a microscopic level, how it opens the cuticle to create texture, and how it can either enhance or harm depending on your hair type and routine. You'll learn the best times to use it, how often, and what kind of aftercare treatments keep your strands looking their best. And if you've got curls, color, or chemically treated hair, don't worry. We've got you covered with a few extra tips to protect and nourish your locks while still enjoying the salty benefits. So get ready to turn your bathroom into your very own beach shack. Grab a spray bottle, some sea salt, and a little conditioner, because we're about to show you how to capture that windswept, sun-kissed, salty-haired magic without ever leaving home. Let's get started. Acts as a natural texturizer, giving hair beachy waves and volume. There's something about stepping off the beach and catching a glimpse of your reflection. The sunlight hits just right, and your hair looks effortlessly perfect, full of volume, soft waves, and a slightly tousled texture that makes it feel like you've just walked out of a surf movie. It's the kind of look people try to recreate with expensive sprays and styling tools. But what if the magic lies in something much simpler? What if the secret to that breezy, carefree texture is just salt water? Salt water has long been a quiet beauty secret, especially among surfers, beachgoers, and those lucky enough to live near the coast. There's a reason your hair behaves differently after a swim in the ocean. The combination of salt, minerals, and sunlight gives hair a unique texture that's hard to replicate with commercial products. It gets gritty in the best way, separating strands just enough to create volume, lift, and those iconic beachy waves. What happens, exactly, when salt water touches your hair? On a microscopic level, the salt in the water pulls moisture from your hair, making it slightly drier and rougher. While that might sound like a bad thing, it's actually the foundation of the texture we associate with beach hair. The salt's drying effect adds grit and definition. It helps waves stay put and prevents strands from clumping together, which in turn creates the illusion of thicker, fuller hair. It's nature's own volumizing treatment, and it doesn't require a stylist or a salon. Creating this look at home is easier than you might think. You don't need to book a seaside vacation or buy a fancy spray labeled marine texturizer. With a few household ingredients and a little DIY spirit, you can make your own saltwater spray and give your hair that lived-in look any time of the year. All it takes is water, salt, and a few optional aid-ins like coconut oil or a bit of hair gel if you want to boost the hold or add shine. Start with warm water. Fill a spray bottle with about a cup of it. Then, dissolve 1 to 2 teaspoons of sea salt into the water. Sea salt is preferred over table salt because it contains more natural minerals, but if table salt is all you have, it'll still do the trick. To counteract the drying effect of the salt, add a teaspoon of coconut oil or argan oil. This helps nourish your strands while still letting the salt do its work. Some people like to add a dab of conditioner or a tiny squirt of hair gel to help set the waves. Shake the bottle until everything's well blended. Now comes the fun part: application. It's the best time to use your homemade salt spray is when your hair is damp, but not soaking wet. You can let your hair air dry a bit after a shower, or spritz it with water if it's already dry. Spray the salt mixture generously from mid-length to ends, scrunching with your hands as you go. Flip your head upside down if you want to encourage even more volume. The more you scrunch and twist, the more defined the waves will become. Let it air dry, or use a diffuser on a low heat setting for a more pronounced look. As your hair dries, you'll start to notice the transformation. Where once your hair may have hung limp or straight, it now starts to rise with life. Sections begin to curl gently, bending into those relaxed, beachy shapes. The texture becomes slightly grainy, but soft, full of movement without stiffness. If you've added oil, there's a touch of shine and smoothness to balance the roughness. What you're left with is a style that looks entirely natural, because it is. Saltwater texture doesn't demand perfection. In fact, it thrives on imperfection. A bit of frizz here, a little unevenness there. It all contributes to the wild, windswept feel. It's the opposite of overly polished curls or slick styles. This is the kind of hair that tells a story, suggests that you've been somewhere exciting, you've been caught in the elements and came out looking cooler because of it. There's also a certain ritualistic pleasure in using something so elemental. Salt and water, two of the most basic ingredients on Earth, have been used for centuries in all kinds of beauty and healing practices. Applying salt water to your hair taps into something primal and intuitive. It's a way of working with nature rather than against it, enhancing your hair's natural texture instead of forcing it into submission. Of course, it's important to use salt water in moderation, because it draws moisture out of the hair. Excessive use can lead to dryness or brittleness over time. If you're using your spray regularly, be sure to give your hair a deep conditioning treatment once a week to replenish moisture. Look for hydrating masks or oils that can restore softness without stripping the texture you've worked so hard to create. What's wonderful about salt water as a natural texturizer is how adaptable it is. Whether your hair's long or short, straight or wavy, thick or fine, a saltwater spritz can add a new dimension to your look. It's especially effective for those with naturally wavy or slightly curly hair, as it helps define and hold those waves in place. But even those with stick-straight hair will see a change in texture, volume, and personality. In a world filled with complex beauty routines and endless product shelves, there's something deeply refreshing about turning to something so simple. Salt water doesn't come with a list of synthetic ingredients or complicated instructions. It doesn't promise perfection, but it delivers personality. It turns your everyday hair into something that looks a little freer, a little wilder, and a lot more fun. So the next time you crave those sun-drenched waves and that wind-tousled lift, skip the styling cream and reach for the salt. Your beach hair doesn't have to wait for a vacation. It can start right at home, with a bottle of warm water, a pinch of salt, and the spirit of the sea in every strand. It can help reduce oiliness by absorbing excess scalp sebum. There's something undeniably refreshing about standing on a beach, feeling the breeze in your hair and the salt water misting your skin. But beyond the beauty of the ocean, there's a hidden magic in that salty air and water, especially when it comes to your hair. For those who struggle with oily hair and greasy scalps, salt water might just be the simple, natural solution you never knew you needed. Oiliness can be a stubborn and frustrating hair issue. One day after washing and your roots already feel heavy, slick, and in desperate need of another rinse. What if the answer isn't another chemical-laden shampoo or pricey scalp treatment? What if the ocean held a clue all along? Salt water, particularly when used thoughtfully at home, is a natural way of absorbing excess sebum, helping balance out oil levels and leaving hair fresher and more manageable. It all starts with the science of salt. Sea salt is hygroscopic, meaning it attracts and absorbs moisture. When applied to the scalp, it can bind to the oils and sweat accumulating at the roots. This doesn't just soak up the shinnet, it can also help gently exfoliate the scalp, removing dead skin cells, product buildup, and excess oil all in one go. Think of it as a reset button for your hair and scalp. In coastal towns where swimming in the ocean is a daily activity, many people notice their hair feels lighter and cleaner after spending time in the sea. But you don't need to live by the beach to benefit. You can recreate the experience with a homemade saltwater spray or rinse. The best part? It's incredibly easy to make and customize depending on your hair type and needs. To create your own saltwater hair treatment at home, start with the basics. Warm distilled water, a few teaspoons of natural sea salt or Himalayan salt, and a container to store it in. Mix until the salt is dissolved, and you have the foundation of your saltwater remedy. Some people like to add a few drops of essential oils like tea tree or lavender for their soothing antimicrobial properties. Others mix in a splash of aloe vera or a little coconut oil to prevent overdrying. It's all about finding the right balance for your scalp. Now, the application. If you're using it to target oiliness, the key is to focus on the scalp, not just the hair itself. Pour the salt water into a spray bottle and lightly mist your roots, or use a cotton ball to dab it directly onto your scalp. Let it sit for 10 to 20 minutes, just long enough for the salt to do its job, absorbing excess oil. Afterward, rinse thoroughly with lukewarm water or proceed with your regular shampoo routine. You might find that you don't need to wash as aggressively or as often. For some, this treatment can become a regular part of their routine. A couple of times a week may be enough to keep oiliness under control without stripping the hair of its natural protective barrier, because that's the balance you want to strike, reducing excess sebum without drying your scalp into a flaky, irritated mess. When done right, salt water can help normalize your scalp's oil production over time, potentially reducing how often you even think about greasy roots. There is something empowering about finding a natural solution that doesn't involve harsh chemicals or salon visits. Salt water isn't just a practical remedy, it's sensory too. The smell of the ocean, the crisp feeling on your skin, the memory of summer, all bottled up in a humble spray. Even when you're in the middle of a busy, landlocked week, using salt water in your hair routine can feel like a little act of rebellion against buildup in oil, a moment to breathe and reset. Of course, every scalp is different. If you have sensitive skin or a history of dryness or eczema, it's always a good idea to patch test first or dilute the salt water more than usual. And while salt is great for oil control, moderation is important. Too much of a good thing can leave your scalp irritated or your hair too parched. That's why experimenting gradually and paying attention to how your scalp reacts is key. Salt water has long been a staple in folk remedies for everything from skin irritations to sore throats. And now, increasingly, it's finding a place in modern hair care routines. It's easy, inexpensive, and accessible. And for those fighting the daily battle against grease and flat roots, it can be the beginning of a more balanced and confident hair journey. So next time you look at your oily scalp in the mirror and sigh, consider turning to something as humble as salt water. You can mix it in your kitchen, spritz it on your roots, and let it quietly soak up what your shampoo often misses. No magic potions, no complicated routines, just a little salt, a little water, and a fresh new approach to the age-old struggle with oily hair may exfoliate the scalp, promoting a healthier environment for hair growth. There is something quietly magical about the sea. The scent of salt in the breeze, the cool water splashing at your ankles, and that inexplicable feeling that your soul is being refreshed. But while many people are drawn to the ocean for emotional escape, nature might be offering something more tangible. Something as simple as salt water could be the unexpected solution your scalp has been craving. In the world of natural beauty remedies, few ingredients are as ancient and misunderstood as salt. Long before shampoos came in bottles with promises of volume and shine, people were turning to salt-infused water for its healing and cleansing powers. And if you have ever come back from a day at the beach feeling like your hair had more volume or your scalp felt cleaner, it was not just your imagination. Salt water, when used mindfully, can actually exfoliate the scalp, creating a healthier environment for your hair to grow. To understand how this works, picture your scalp not as an isolated surface, but as the soil in a garden. For hair to flourish, the soil must be rich, clean, and free of debris. Unfortunately, modern living introduces a long list of problems. Sweat, oils, dead skin cells, styling products, and pollution all accumulate on the scalp, forming a stubborn layer that clogs hair follicles and suffocates new growth. This is where salt water steps in like a natural broom, gently sweeping away the buildup without harsh chemicals. Salt acts as a natural exfoliant, and when mixed into water, It becomes a solution that can dislodge flakes, dissolve excess oils, and purify the scalp hull while leaving a refreshing sensation that synthetic shampoos often fail to deliver. One of the most beautiful things about using salt water for your hair is how accessible it is. You do not need a laboratory or luxury products. All you need is a little salt and clean warm water. Sea salt is preferred because of its rich mineral content, which includes magnesium, potassium, and calcium. These minerals not only help cleanse the scalp, but also soothe inflammation and nourish the skin. You can use Himalayan pink salt or Epsom salt as well if sea salt is unavailable. The process is simple. Take 1 to 2 tablespoons of salt and dissolve it into a cup of warm water. Stir it until completely dissolved. Once ready, pour it into a spray bottle or apply it directly onto your scalp using your fingers. Before applying, make sure your hair is damp or freshly washed. Section your hair and begin massaging the salt water gently into your scalp, using small, circular motions. This not only helps exfoliate physically, but also stimulates blood circulation, which is essential for hair growth. Let the solution sit for 5 to 10 minutes. During this time, the salt begins its quiet work, breaking down oils and dead skin cells, while tightening the pores and toning the skin. After that, rinse thoroughly with lukewarm water, ensuring that no salt residue is left behind. Some people may choose to follow with a light conditioner or a nourishing oil like argan or jojoba, especially if their hair leans toward dryness. However, those with oily scalps often find that the salt water alone brings a fresh, balanced feel that lasts for days. This simple treatment can be done once or twice a week, depending on your scalp's needs. Overdoing it, especially on dry or sensitive scalps, might lead to irritation, so listening to your skin is key. Beyond the mechanics, there is a meditative quality to this ritual. It forces you to slow down and care for a part of your body that often gets overlooked. It is not just about hair. It is about paying attention to your roots, both literal and metaphorical. Many people who begin using salt water for scalp exfoliation report not only stronger hair, but also fewer breakouts around the hairline, less itchiness, and even a reduction in dandruff. For those who deal with the frustration of flakes or a greasy crown, this small practice feels almost revolutionary. And yet salt water does not promise miracles. It will not grow your hair inches overnight. It will not cure all scalp conditions. But what it can offer is a cleaner foundation, a refreshed scalp, and a nurturing environment that makes way for healthy, steady growth. It is not a quick fix, but rather a natural nudge in the right direction, one that aligns your routine with the rhythm of nature. In a time when beauty routines are crowded with serums, foams, and promises that often disappoint, salt water stands out because of its simplicity and authenticity. There is no branding behind it, no celebrity endorsements or glossy packaging, just nature doing what it has always done. The ocean, after all, has been healing skin and restoring balance for centuries. Bringing that into your bathroom is not a trend. It is a return. And in that return, you might just find the healthiest version of your hair waiting to grow. Overuse can lead to dryness and breakage due to salt's dehydrating effects. It starts with the dreamy image of ocean-kissed hair. Those tousled waves that fall just right, a texture that feels effortless and alive with volume. The idea of recreating that windswept, salty look at home has fueled countless DIY hair treatments using sea salt sprays and saltwater rinses. But what most people don't see beyond the carefree glow of beachy hair is a quieter truth, one that sneaks up gradually. Behind the shine and style, salt carries a cost. If used too often, especially without care, it can become a thief of moisture, leaving hair parched, brittle, and prone to breakage. Saltwater has long been associated with cleansing and healing. There's something raw and elemental about it. People soak wounds in it, gargle it for sore throats, and, yes, pour it on their scalp to remove oil and refresh tired strands. A mixture of sea salt and warm water, when sprayed or rinsed through hair, can act as a natural exfoliant and oil balancer. It strips away grease, adds grip to limp strands, and provides that signature beach texture. At first, it feels like magic. The hair feels lighter, the roots cleaner, and there's volume you didn't think you could get without a stylist. So it's tempting to do it again and again. till you notice the first signs of trouble. The same power that gives salt its appeal is also what makes it dangerous in excess. Salt is a desiccant, draws moisture out of things. In your hair, that means the more you use salt water, the more natural oils get pulled away. Those oils are not just there for shine. They are a protective layer, sealing in hydration and preventing the strands from becoming brittle. Without them, the cuticle begins to fray. The hair starts to feel rough. Then it tangles more easily. The shine fades. Split ends become common. And if left unchecked, breakage follows. It doesn't happen overnight. That's part of what makes it so deceptive. One week your hair is bouncing with salt-induced waves. The next, it's tangled and dry, no matter how much conditioner you use. For people with already delicate hair, curly-colored or chemically treated, the effects can be even more pronounced. These types of hair are more porous, meaning they absorb and lose moisture faster than others. Salt accelerates that cycle. What was meant to enhance ends up exhausting your strands. But that doesn't mean salt water is your enemy. It's like anything powerful. It just needs to be used wisely. When used in moderation, with a thoughtful approach, salt water can be an occasional treat for your hair away, to refresh the scalp, add volume before a big day, or bring texture to a flat style. The key lies in balance. Making your own saltwater treatment at home is simple. Start with purified or filtered water to avoid mineral buildup. Then stir in a teaspoon or two of sea salt per cup of water. Add a few drops of nourishing oil like coconut, argan, or jojoba to soften the blow of salt's drying effects. You can even toss in a splash of aloe vera or a dab of conditioner to help cushion your hair from the harshness. Mix it well in a spray bottle and use it sparingly. A few spritzes on damp hair, then let it air dry or scrunch it gently with your hands. Use it no more than once or twice a week, and always follow with moisture-rich products afterward. Deep conditioning masks, leave-in treatments, or even a few drops of oil work through the ends can help replenish what the salt might strip away. If you notice your hair beginning to feel stiff or look dull, take it as a sign to cut back and nourish more. Timing also matters. Don't use saltwater treatments right after coloring your hair or using heat styling tools. Your hair is more vulnerable during these times, and adding salt could worsen damage. Think of it like sun exposure. Little can be nice and warming. Too much and you get burned. What you do before and after applying salt water is as important as the salt itself. Detangling beforehand can prevent stress on strands. Avoiding brushing when the hair is wet and full of salt helps minimize breakage. Letting hair dry naturally, without the tug of elastic bands or the heat of dryers, gives it space to breathe. And perhaps most importantly, listen to your hair. It has a way of telling you what it needs. If it starts to feel like straw, it's asking for help. If it starts to look frizzy and dull, it may be overworked. Salt water is not a daily routine. It's an accent, a flourish, a temporary transformation. Used occasionally, it can make you feel like you've just walked off a sunlit beach. Used constantly, it becomes something else entirely, an invisible drought that drains your hair of life. The fantasy of beach hair is beautiful, and salt water is a natural route to get there. But behind the glamour is a grain of caution. With a measured hand, a little oil, and plenty of hydration, you can enjoy the best of what salt water has to offer without sacrificing the health of your hair. Let the waves be a treat, not a threat. Your strands will thank you for it. Ideal in moderation for styling, but follow up with conditioning treatments for balance. There is something magical about the ocean breeze and the way your hair seems to dance with texture after a swim in the sea. That tousled, beachy look has inspired countless hair trends, and saltwater sprays have made their way into beauty cabinets across the world. Saltwater, with its natural ability to add volume and shape, has become a go-to for styling. But like any beauty secret, it works best in moderation. Used too often or without care, the very element that gives your hair life can leave it brittle and crying out for moisture. When embraced thoughtfully, salt water becomes not just a styling aid, but a ritual, a balance between nature and nurture. Picture a summer afternoon, sunlight trickling through your window, and you standing in front of the mirror with a spray bottle filled with homemade salt water. You spritz your roots, scrunch the strands gently, and suddenly you have that effortless wave, as if you've spent hours on the beach. There is an undeniable thrill in seeing your hair gain volume and texture with so little effort. The salt opens up the cuticle slightly, adding grit and separation that makes fine hair fuller and thick hair more defined. It's no wonder stylists recommend it for creating that undone, casual look that speaks of coastal freedom. But the ocean, as romantic as it seems, is a harsh mistress. Salt, by its very nature, is drying. It draws out moisture, not just from the air, but from whatever it touches. In your hair, this means that over time, strands can lose their softness, becoming prone to breakage and frizz. Those waves you love so much, if not treated with care, they can start to look less like a style and more like a warning sign. That is where balance comes in. The truth is, salt water is ideal in moderation. It should be a styling tool, not a daily ritual. The key to enjoying the benefits of salt water at home lies in how you use it. You can easily create your own saltwater spray by combining warm water with sea salt, a touch of leave-in conditioner, and just a few drops of nourishing oil like argan or jojoba. Shake the bottle well and apply lightly to damp or dry hair. The leave-in conditioner helps counteract the drying effect of the salt, while the oil adds a hint of shine and seals in moisture. It is a potion that gives your hair that wind-swept beauty without fully draining it of life. Using salt water at home is also about timing. It works beautifully on days when you want to embrace your natural texture or add volume to limp strands. You can use it before braiding for a more defined wave or before curling for extra grip and hold. But it should not replace your regular hair care routine. In fact, if you use saltwater spray once or twice a week, make sure your wash day is a rescue mission. That means a deep conditioning treatment, something rich and hydrating, to help your hair bounce back from the salt's rough touch. Think of it like walking barefoot in the sand. There is something grounding and wonderful about it, but if you do it every day, your feet get rough, cracked, and sore. Salt water on your hair is much the same. It connects you to something elemental and beautiful, but it demands respect. If you're using salt water often, you need to add weekly hair masks into your routine. Look for ingredients like shea butter, coconut oil, honey, or keratin, which can help replenish what the salt has taken away. Some people swear by rinsing with cool water after using salt water to help seal the cuticle and prevent excessive dryness.
Ow.
Others follow up with a lightweight serum to keep flyaways at bay. The idea is not to abandon salt water altogether, but to weave it thoughtfully into a broader practice of hair care. It is not a villain, but neither is it a saint. It is simply a natural tool that, when used wisely, can make your hair come alive. For those with color-treated or chemically processed hair, a little extra caution is necessary. Salt water can strip away color faster and make treated strands more vulnerable. In this case, it's wise to dilute your salt concentration and add extra conditioning agents to your spray. You are not just styling your hair, you are protecting an investment. Even natural hair textures, from curls to coils, benefit from a gentler approach. Use salt water sparingly, and follow up with a curl cream or hydrating mist to restore elasticity and softness. Ultimately, salt water for hair is about evoking a feeling, a moment, a look that seems carefree and full of energy. But behind that illusion is a bit of science and a lot of care. You are creating a balance between texture and moisture, volume and health. That perfect tousled look does not have to come at the cost of your hair's well-being. As long as you know when to indulge and when to step back, so the next time you reach for that saltwater spray, whether it's homemade or store-bought, think of it as part of a larger story. Use it to shape your hair into something beautiful, but always follow it with love. Let the waves roll in, and then give your hair the calm waters it needs to recover. Because beauty should feel good, not just look good. And in the rhythm of salt and softness, you'll find a new way to care for your hair. So there you have it. Salt water can be a simple, natural way to add texture, volume, and even a deep cleanse to your hair right at home. But like all good things, it comes with a balance. Use it wisely. Treat your hair with care. And don't forget to follow up with moisturizing treatments to keep your strands soft and strong. Whether you're going for that effortless beach wave look or just refreshing your scalp, salt water can be a great tool when used in moderation. Thanks for joining us in exploring the beauty and the boundaries of salt water for hair. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss out on more natural beauty tips and DIY hair care secrets. Have you tried salt water on your hair before? Share your experience in the comments. We'd love to hear how it worked for you. And remember, Healthy hair is happy hair, so keep learning, keep experimenting, and keep taking care of yourself. See you in the next video.